we'll take a look at the right obstacle, the first level ones basically. So we have this selected. So right obstacle 1 will go according to naming order. Transforms 1. We'll compile this blueprint. So we have 3 elements. We can access it right here. So the first one is going to be this. I'm not sure if we can paste this. Yep, we can. We have right obstacle. Copy this. Okay, we took that. So left obstacle. Copy this and okay. The right and the left have, okay, they don't. So paste one has negative 250 and the center one will probably have 0. So we'll paste it. We'll have 0 over here. Okay, and now that we have this, let's grab our obstacle 2s or obstacle 1s. So this is negative 600. 1, 2, 3, negative 600. This will be constant. So one is going to be 250, another one is going to be negative 250. Similarly, we can grab our 2. So negative 1600, this is basically our midpoint. Negative 1600, 250, negative 250, and this is about it. Now, once this is done, we'll collapse this to a function. So determine number of dodgeable obstacles. Okay, we have the number of dodgeable obstacles now. Now what we can do is we can loop through this. So for each loop, I really wish we could have a 2-dimensional array for this. That would have helped us a lot. Now, what we can do is we can go ahead and randomize this. Can we not randomize this? Okay, we cannot. So we have a plugin which will help us. So low entry. We can restart. Save everything. Alright, so back here, I think now we should have, okay, we are coming close to 2 hours. I think this will be done in 2 hours, not 1. Blueprints, game, course, path base, and we should have a randomize. Oops, nope, we don't. So I think we might need a few functions. So how do we go about randomizing this? We can look at the Epic Games Launcher if we have any plugins. So array helpers, I guess I had one. So we'll go ahead and install this to the engine. We can simultaneously use it. Once we have this, so once we actually randomize this, depending on this, we can go ahead and set this. So switch on int and we'll use select for this. So just close the editor just to let that happen. And now if we go ahead and launch our endless runner, okay, go to edit, plugins, so edit plugins and array helper, go ahead and restart. So this is the sort of stuff I just hope it doesn't take too long. Right, hopefully we have some sort of a randomize function. So randomize, okay, we still do not have a randomize option. So let's just look for it. So randomize array unreal, I don't know. Is it just called something else? So okay, never mind. It's called shuffle. So first of all, we'll shuffle the arrays. We'll shuffle all the three. We'll do that before we actually set this. We'll go ahead, shuffle this. Go ahead and shuffle this once again. We'll put that in the previous function itself. So we can go ahead and shuffle. Generally, I don't recommend you guys do array operations in Blueprint, but anyways, once this loop is completed, we can do that. And this will go to the return node. Just for you to understand the flow of logic here. And now, depending on this, we can go ahead and spawn them. So the array element is going to be the number of obstacles. So this switch is going to start from 1. So start index is 1. You will either have 1, 2 or 3. So if you have 1 or 2, we can use select probably. Copy this over. So everything else is 0, so we can just leave it as is. So we can go ahead and over here, if this is 1, if we have one dodgeable obstacle, we can go ahead and spawn just one of them as dodgeable. So dodgeable. So 1 is going to be dodgeable, and the spawn transform will just use the first index. So we'll select. So depending on which index it is. So transform 1, transform 2, transform 3. So option 1, option 2 and option 3. So we'll select any one of these arrays. And if we have to spawn only one dodgeable, so we can get a copy of the first one. We'll split the struct pin here and we'll just get this location. Now we need to just repeat this logic. So Control D, and we want to do two non-dodgeable ones. So dodgeable, and index 1 and 2 are going to be non-dodgeable. So non-dodgeable. We have to spawn a child class of this. So can use the select once again. So random integer, and max is going to be 2. So it's going to be max is 2. So 1 and 2. So it's random number between 0 and max minus 1. Let's just use random integer in range. It's a little bit confusing. So minimum is 0, maximum is 2. Okay. And this is going to be dodgeable. So dodgeable, obstacle dodgeable child 1, child 2 and child 3. This is what we have. Done. And for this one, this is non-dodgeable. So we'll copy the logic, but instead of dodgeable, we'll have non-dodgeable. So child 1, child 1, child 2 and child 3. Okay, and we need this once again. So copy over this entire logic. Alright, so this is going to be the same. This is going to be for index 2. Now if we have 2, we can go ahead and copy this over. So Control C and Control V, and we can just move this aside. So for index 0, it's going to remain the same. Whoops, Control V. Oops, copy this. Control C and Control V. Index is still going to remain the same. Once this is done, we need the attach as well. We didn't copy over the attach. Okay, so we have to duplicate this whole thing. So index is this, and index is going to remain the same everywhere. So now we need 2 dodgeable obstacles. So for this one as well, we have dodgeable, and this is going to be index 1 obviously. And for index 2, we can go ahead and have this. Alright, so copy this, and again we can pass the index. So array index, go ahead and pass that in. And when we have all 3 dodgeable obstacles, we'll just go ahead and copy this much. Control C and Control V. So in case of 3, this is what we'll do. So index is still going to remain the array index. Control D and Control D. Copy this over, move the execution pins, and the index will obviously just remain the same. So the last one is going to remain the same, and this is going to be 2, this is going to be 1, and this is going to be 0. So make sure you have 0, 1 and 2. Okay, so now our logic should work, and if I were to go ahead and press play, okay, everything works. Okay, alright, so we stepped on to something. We need to make sure this doesn't happen in our first run. So okay, we have to just ensure that the obstacles aren't spawned in the first one, basically. So we'll create a boolean first box. So if this is not the first box, we'll go ahead and do this. So inside the level blueprint, under this, if we go ahead and refresh nodes, we have to pass this in. So expose on spawn. Alright, so now if I refresh, I should get this. So only if this is index 0, so double equal to 0, then this is the first box, otherwise it's not. Okay, so now our logic is working. Let's go ahead and play the game now. Alright, so as you guys can see, our game is working as expected. We don't have a score yet, we'll just set it up quickly. So as you can see, our logic is working. So we can set up a scoring system real quick and dirty here. Content, we'll do the start thing also. It's really simple. So go ahead and open level. We call this one game map, I believe. So maps, game map, go ahead and paste that in. We can start from the main menu. Go ahead and play, start, and we started the game. So as you can see, everything is working as expected. You could have some stuff at the side. And we'll have a scoring system. We can have a time-based scoring system. So the score is going to go up at a constant rate. Content, we'll create a widget for it. So use a widget, and we'll call this one HUD. And we'll just simply have a text. So we'll wrap this with a canvas panel, and this is going to be our score. Once we will set the game mode and stuff. So game map. Here we'll have BP. We don't have a player controller. We'll create that. Game. Go ahead, head into blueprint class, player controller, BP underscore player controller. So you should have BP player controller. So on begin play, we can go ahead and create the widget. So create widget. It's going to be HUD. And we can go ahead and add to viewport. Right, so let's look at our time. We don't have much. I think it'll take probably just a little over 2 hours, but it'll be done. So once we create this, we can grab a reference. So promote this to a variable, and we'll call this one HUD. Now I don't recommend you guys use bindings, but I think in this case, just to make this real quick, I'll use bindings. So we can have game state. On construct, we can get reference to the game state. So get game state, cast to BP game state, and what we can do is we can grab a reference to it, and we can create a score variable. Content, blueprint, we have blueprint, main menu, I guess, no, game. So game state, and we can have a score. So we'll make this an int 64 so that we can have larger scores. So int is a 64, and we can have a timer. So set timer by function name, and it's going to be something which happens every 0.5 seconds, let's say, and we are going to increment the score. So promote to variable, score timer, and we can have a custom event, increment score, or increase, I'll call it, doesn't matter, we'll not worry about that. We are going to get the score, and we'll set it to score +2 maybe, plus set score. So we'll go ahead and do that, copy this, put it in the function name, make this looping, and we can use a binding here. So we can bind this, we can get the game state, we can make this a validated get. This is a little more expensive on your computer, so don't do this. So we can get the score, and we can convert this to text. You can use a format text node and stuff. I'm not really going over that, so we'll just do that actually. So format text. Alright, and we don't need to convert this. If we press play, as you can see, our score is increasing at a constant rate, and you can see it on the top left hand side. For those of you on mobile phones and who are not able to see it, I'll just make this text a little bigger. So 40, make this one regular, we don't need bold, and this should be good. So as you can see, everything is working fine. And you can go ahead and set up any logic if you want to, like, save it or whatever. But for now, I'm happy with this. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. We do have a complete game, and instead of exit, you can just show the score on a widget or something. We'll do that. Let's not leave it halfway. The last part before we just complete it. So we'll create a widget and we'll call this one end screen. Okay, we'll add a border, wrap this with a canvas panel. So we can go ahead and wrap with canvas panel, and this border should take up the whole thing. So offsets are going to be 0, and the brush color is going to be something black maybe. And we can just go ahead and add some text. So we need to align it right at the center. So vertical box, we can use an overlay rather. Overlay is going to be helpful here. So overlay. So border is going to be filled. The overlay is going to be filled as well. So 0, 0. Alright, and over here we can have text. And this is the advantage of using a canvas panel. So 40, can make this regular maybe. Can go ahead and put score, and we can go ahead and give the value. So let's go ahead and set that. So event construct get game state, cast to our BP game state, and we can get access to the score variable, get score, and we can set the text of this. So set the text, set text, and this is going to be about it. We'll format it. So format text, so this is the score. So let's go ahead and center that, make it 0.5, 0.5, and make everything else 0 here. Oops, the size shouldn't have been 0. Make this one center aligned, and make sure for any vertical alignment which we have. Okay, nope, we don't, so I'll just reduce the size of this maybe to 100. Okay, this should be good. Now if I go ahead and press play, nothing will happen because we haven't spawned the end screen. Where we have our event hit in our character, so we can cast to obstacle, and instead of that we can go ahead and create a widget. Create a widget, end screen, and we can add it to the viewport. Alright, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm testing the end screen, so I'll just die immediately. Okay, so our score is 300 apparently, which is nice. Okay, not sure why we didn't exit immediately there. We need a do once. I understood the problem. So do once. Because once we die, the game's over. Don't want to redo that. So okay, we need to do once from here actually. No, we just went over the obstacle, which was kind of stupid. So go ahead and try this out. And our score is 280. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed this entire course. I know it's been over 11 hours at this point, but hopefully you've learned something new, and I hope you enjoyed the last part where we actually made an entire game and we didn't use any C++ to be honest. So that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed and see you guys later. Goodbye.